My name is Chloe Albert, and I will be doing my final project on the war against drugs, prescription drugs more specifically. Beyond that, I want to focus that psychotropic medications should not be legally given and prescribed by standard family doctors. The issue revolving family doctors prescribing is that there is no formal assessment done. Typically, there are no referrals to counselors or therapies or even psychiatrists to regulate these medications. Individuals that are not supposed to be given these medications can lead to addiction, withdrawals, and can even have dangerous brain alterations if it's not meant for them. A lot of times, antidepressants are not supposed to be given to people, but maybe that day or during a certain period they feel down and not really happy, but they're not actually depressed. They are not depressed with any criteria that fits a depressed individual. So the issue with family doctors is that they go in, they name off a couple symptoms that, triggers in their brain that says, oh, this person might be depressed. But they automatically put them on medication without having any formal assessment, and this can cause long-term damage if that person does not really truly need to have depression medication. This also relays into unnecessary long-term uses since they are not actually treating the problem, they are just masking it with a band-aid as medication. They typically will use it long term because if they're on the medication, they think, oh, this is working. My doctor keeps prescribing it, so therefore it must be okay. But really, the longer you use these medication, the longer it starts to permanently change your brain and you get addicted to it. The scary thing is that when children or teenagers have to use antidepressants, the family doctors don't realize that there are a number of other influences that could be causing depressed symptoms or anxiety or a number of other mental illness issues. As I go on, I would like to focus on the statistics regarding this. Prozac in 2014 quoted that in 2010, more than 24.4 million prescriptions of just generic Prozac were filled in the US. Think about how much that is now. That's almost 10 years. And that's how much we were prescribing back then. As most of us know, mental health issues are increasing because we're actually in a more stressed time than it was back in the Great Depression. That's a huge statistic that is commonly known now. We're facing more stress than we did back then. So imagine 9 more to 10 more years. I wonder what that statistic is now. Unfortunately, I could not find one, but that is the statistic from 2010 from Prozac themselves. Another interesting statistic I found was from the Rand Corp in 2002. It's a little outdated, I understand, but it is so interesting. They surveyed 700 adults who had prescribed antidepressants. Only 20% were found to be actually diagnosed with a depressive disorder. And 30% of the 700 had any depressive symptoms at all. So think about that. 70% of 700 did not have any depressive symptoms at all. And that was reported by Lane 2009 from the Rand Corp 2002 study. Now this next statistic is what scares me the most. Young children have high rates of metabolism, which requires them to receive higher doses of psychotropic medications. And that was from our text, Sheperis and Sheperis 2015. The thing that really scares me is that the medication in the children need to be closely monitored because their brain's already rapidly changing because they're growing and they have hormones and all sorts of different things going on with them. They need to be monitored more. If the family doctors are prescribing young children medication just because they named off a couple symptoms that they were receiving, this could potentially cause them long-term damage. The reason why I'm so irritated and behind this issue is because I was prescribed these medications by a family doctor, and I turned out to have a low dependence on them, and it was hard to get off, and it was really scary. Come to find out that I saw a therapist for only a month, and it just had to do with situational anxiety, and I was able to control that. These people are causing long-term damage to their brains because they're going to family doctors and not having any therapy or counseling or even monitoring. I understand that some people do need these prescriptions. However, they need to be prescribed by a psychiatrist or someone along those lines. Ways that I can see this being solved is for us to band together and make it illegal for regular MD doctors to prescribe psychotropic medications. I think we should limit psychotropic medication use altogether and push for finding alternatives, whether that be therapy, counseling, sports, yoga, any type of holistic medication, whether that be vitamins, and also just do your own research, especially for the clients themselves. If they are being prescribed these medications, they need to be asking why. They need to be asking what it does, and if it's a black label, like most of these products are. Black label means that it is a highly dangerous and or addictive drug, and I was not informed of that, and I think that that is an issue that a lot of people are facing with when they see an MD family doctor. I have listed a couple resources that I have found the information from, and that is Lane, Prozac, and Sheperis, our textbook. Thank you, and I hope that we can solve this problem.